Good afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Hank Allen here with the latest on a tornado warning, a new tornado warning that we have for you now. This is for parts of St. Charles and St. John Parish. This is right over the Laplace area at the moment here. So let's zoom in and show you that. This tornado warning does go until 3 o'clock this afternoon here. Some indication of rotation, maybe not the best indication that we've seen so far today, but I tell you what, pretty good indication nevertheless of some rotation here. And I'm going to put on this velocity and show you what we're talking about. It's this area right here where you see this sort of red and green combination. Now, you know, when you talk about probably a more likely tornado, you would have that red and green right next to each other. But that brightness of that red there does indicate that we're looking at some pretty significant wind moving away from the radar, and then the green indicates that wind moving towards the radar around the Mons area. So you have sort of a broad circulation, I would say, right now. If you don't have a tornado on the ground, these winds certainly look strong enough to produce some wind damage, if not actually a tornado touchdown. You know, you don't have to actually get a tornado to touch down to produce damage. So this is something that, you know, you could be looking at some down power lines, something like that. Just near the Laplace area and really anywhere within that red box, you need to be taking shelter. Obviously, this is about to move over the spillway here, sort of the end of the spillway. There's I-55 there near Fernier. And so this is a situation where I definitely want you to be taking shelter here. And I want to draw a pretty large storm track as this moves off to the northeast. And really the Fernier area is something that we're looking at, you know, and again, you've got pretty unpopulated areas once you get past Laplace here. But basically, if you're in Laplace, down towards Mons, even Norco, I'd be taking shelter. And then certainly if you were about to head out today, I know there's lots of lines on the map here because of these different boxes. That orange box there is a marine warning for when this moves over the lake. But here's I-10. This yellow line right here, this is I-55 just west of the word Fernier. And so, you know, this is an area here. You can even see that darker red sort of, you know, hooking around a bit. That's where we could be looking at a little bit of rotation. And so you certainly need to be sheltered in place if you're in Laplace, if you are closer up towards I-10 near Laplace. And Skippy, I'm going to stay on here for just a minute just to let you know here. And so as this continues to move off to the northeast, you know, these exits, both Highway 51 and then also that Belterre Boulevard area, Highway 51 there, of course, near I-55. You've got all those sort of running together with I-10. You've got a couple of those truck stops there. You've got a few restaurants, a couple of hotels. If you're in that area, this is Highway 51 right here coming down towards Laplace. If you're in that area, you definitely need to be sheltered in place as this is coming through. I would call this a broad circulation. This is a radar-indicated tornado, so again, no guarantees that we actually have one on the ground, but I think you do have a decent chance of some wind damage. You certainly don't want to be out driving around in this. The spillway, you can see I-10 here between 310 and 55 impacted by this cell, and so you definitely want to avoid traveling on that. If you were about to head out, we'll put the motion on this here just over the past 15 minutes to show you what this looks like. This cell moving quickly off to the northeast. And, you know, something that you also notice here probably is almost that sort of backwards comma shape there, almost like a number 9 if you look at some of that heavier rainfall here, sort of bending back around and sort of sweeping back around here. So this all indicates, and what you have in the atmosphere here is just a ton of wind shear. You've got that turning of the wind. So this all indicates that this storm is rotating, if nothing else, in a broad fashion. And it's enough to produce that tornado warning here from the Weather Service. But there is a lot of swirling wind involved with these cells. And as we put back on the velocity data, there you can see now that does look a little more ominous now with the latest sweep of the tornado for a potential tornado, because look at this, or latest sweep of the radar, I should say. Notice how, you know, that red and green is really touching at this point. And so that is what we call a couplet, which means, you know, the wind is really going in both directions very close to each other. And you can see that little logo there, that is right over Airline Highway right now. So this is passing by sort of past Mons, heading up in between Airline and I-10. Now, obviously, this is a relatively unpopulated area. It's mostly swamp, that sort of thing. But I do caution here anybody that may know somebody driving along I-10, if we have anybody up around, again, that I-10, I-55, Highway 51 truck stop area there at LaPlace, that exit. Maybe give somebody a heads up if they're in that area. If you know somebody that's going to be traveling on the spillway here over the next couple of minutes, maybe to give them a heads up and say, hey, slow down, wait for this to push through, potentially dangerous conditions. Something else that we'll watch for here, as I put back on the main reflectivity, something else that we can watch for as this goes over Lake Pontchartrain. Notice the track of this. It is going to run over the northern part of the causeway here. You can follow that off to the northeast, and so a lot of times we'll see storms that either are tornadic or have some of that rotation like this one. As they move over the water, it just makes it easier. As you know, we get a lot more water spouts than we do tornadoes, and so that could, allow that circulation to increase a little bit or at least tighten up. And so anybody coming over the causeway over the next hour or so, I think you really need to be aware of this cell. You're okay for now. Obviously, it's still the spillway, but I think as that heads off to the north and northeast, especially the last 3 or 4 miles, that's where we have that marine warning. The last 3 or 4 miles of the causeway here, probably in about 30 to 45 minutes, that could be some really dangerous driving conditions simply because that cell is going to be moving over the water, could help to increase that rotation and that sort of thing. Just looking at this, we have a new tornado warning here, so let's zoom down on that for you. This does include, it looks like, the Des Allemands area. That also goes until 3 o'clock. That's for central St. Charles Parish and north central Lafourche Parish. According to the Weather Service here, storm capable of producing a tornado is located near Des Allemands, or about 13 miles southwest of Hahnville, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So that is going to get into a little bit more of a populated area probably than the other one. And so, this is a situation where, as a matter of fact, you can see this is just south of that other box. And so this is what we're looking at right here. And you can even see a little bit of rotation showing up here right in there where that bend is on the radar. We talk about that hook echo a lot of times, and sort of just south of the Bayou Buff area, headed up towards Des Allemands and Paradis. So if you're in Des Allemands, if you're in Paradis, definitely want you in a safe place here. Lowest level of your room, interior hall, a closet, a bathroom, something like that. Best way to do that is, to think about putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And so this is going to be looking like it runs right along and maybe just north, sort of parallel to Highway 90. So once again, let's put on that wind data, see if we can see anything here. And yeah, that's what the Weather Service is looking at, sort of what we were seeing on that main reflectivity part there. This area right here, just sort of south, if I can get my little drawing icon there we go, just southeast of the Bayou Buff area, heading up towards probably just north of Des Allemands, but that's probably too close to give you the clear there, so definitely want people to take shelter, be safe of that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to zoom this out a little bit, and we're going to put a storm track on that one as it continues to move off to the northeast. So let's do that, and we'll give you a little idea of some of the timing here with this. You can see Hahnville by just shy of 3 o'clock. So Hahnville, Boutte, Paradis, Luling, all these areas, even if it's not showing up on that actual storm track there, all these areas, I think you need to be taking shelter and getting in a safe place, especially if this storm does what that other one is doing, which is increasing the rotation. Look what's happening up here now. Remember when we first came on with you, we had just sort of a bright red and a green farther displaced. Now you have that red and green very, very close to each other, both looking bright, which indicates stronger winds around that. Could be because it's going over the water. I mean, look at this. You're moving really over the extreme southwestern parts of the lake right now, right over the spillway. So as I mentioned, that does allow these cells to increase that rotation and maybe produce a water spout, something like that. But the trend there has been, needless to say, that it has increased over the past 10 to 15 minutes in intensity. And so, what we need to watch out for is now with this other tornado warning in effect, does this cell do the same type of thing? What's interesting here is this little appendage on the bottom end of this, which, I wouldn't call it a debris ball by any means. I don't think this storm is that strong. It would be in that area if we had one, but I think what you're looking at here is a little bit more of that typical cell structure here, where you have this very heavy core of rain, and then to the southwest of that, that's where you have that rotation showing up. And you're starting to see, a little bit of that rainfall wrapping around that rotation, which is going to pass very closely to Des Allemands. I'd be more concerned for you here in Paradis as this cell moves your way, and then up towards Luling and potentially even Hahnville as well. Let's give the hail indicator a check here and see what we have with that. Nothing too impressive out of that. So, neither one of these look like, those colors, those greens certainly do indicate the updrafts with these cells, but we don't have the bright colors on there to indicate that there's a great hail threat, and really I wouldn't expect there to be. But certainly this wind data is showing, both of these cells. I mean, look at this. You can follow this along in both of these red warning boxes, and this is why the Weather Service has these warnings out there. You can see these couplets, these areas of red and green moving through these areas with that rotation. And so I think what we're really seeing here with this top one is the fact that as this has moved over the lake, I mean, look at this. That is a very well-defined, rotational look with that storm as it has moved over Lake Pontchartrain. And I certainly think you could get a water spout out of that, potentially a big one. And so, as I mentioned just a little while ago, as you draw that out here and look up towards the causeway, you're talking about another 25 to 30 minutes for this to cross over the northern half of the Causeway Bridge. So please be aware of that if you were either heading south or maybe if you're on the South Shore. Or know somebody who is a family member and you've just heard from them and say, hey, I'm about to head out from work or whatever the case and head back north. Make them aware that this is a very strong system coming across the bridge over the next 25 to 30 minutes. As we get up on the North Shore here, this line is consolidating a bit more, and as we talked about going into this event, it's going to be those isolated cells that give you the bigger tornado threat like we had earlier. I mean, these things just exploded across the Florida parishes in southern Mississippi earlier today. I've yet to see a report of a tornado touchdown, which is unbelievable. I mean, we had tornado warnings just flying off the handle here earlier this afternoon. It'd be great news if we avoided any touchdown, but now you can see on the North Shore here, this is sort of consolidating into a line, which at that point gives you a little bit less of a tornado threat. Not that you couldn't get one, but a little bit less of a tornado threat, and then you transition into more of that straight line wind potential. And that's what we have here with this severe thunderstorm warning coming in through Mandeville and Covington and Madisonville. So you can see that orange box there. That is a severe thunderstorm warning here until 3:15. And the text on that from the Weather Service here, severe thunderstorm located over Madisonville, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So that's the other thing. If you get under one of these warnings, if the phone goes off, those wireless alerts, those emergency alerts on your phone, if you get one of those going off because you're in one of these warning boxes, you got to act pretty quick because these things are just flying. I mean, at 40 miles an hour, that doesn't give you a whole lot of time to prepare. So if you get under one of those, make sure you take shelter, lowest room of your house, interior room, interior hall, and get in a safe place. The hazard here, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust potential, according to the Weather Service with that. And that includes areas like Slidell, Picayune, Covington. You can see really basically anywhere across central St. Tammany Parish here up towards Tallahassee. You certainly need to be taking shelter with that as well. Now, here's the trick for St. Tammany. These schools are letting out in about 12 minutes. They're doing a 2:51 dismissal today, at least at Pontchartrain Elementary. I know where my daughter goes. And so a lot of these schools are getting out early. And this is always the gamble to me with these early dismissals, is that now I think we're going to be letting out students and buses when you have this significant line of storms coming in. So be aware of that. If you're headed out to pick up a kid from school, something like that, you've got this very heavy rain, you've got this strong wind potential coming in, potentially dangerous to be out on the road. So, if a kid's taking a bus, I guess there's really not too many options there, but just be aware that this is a pretty strong cell coming through central St. Tammany. Back down to the south, that first tornado warning has been canceled, of course, because that cell is now over Lake Pontchartrain. And so I think you're looking at a pretty good chance for a water spout. We're going to track that rotation here over the next 30 to 45 minutes. If that continues to hold together, I would certainly expect a tornado warning to be reissued for St. Tammany Parish on the North Shore if that happens. And then the main area inland at the moment here continues to be this area right here just north of Des Allemands, where you have that red and green combination. It's right here with the Vallier area. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I'm not familiar with that community. But you can see Highway 90 there up towards Boothee, Luling, we mentioned Parody earlier. Let's put another storm track on that for you. That is a situation that, again, even if there's not an actual tornado with that, enough wind to produce some wind damage. So stay inside, could have some debris flying around, something like that. Luling close to 3 o'clock. You see there St. Rose at 3:05. The AMA area there at about 3:08. And, this is radar time. I would knock a minute or two off of these. These things take a little while to scan around. Usually get about a 3-minute scan in severe weather mode. So, maybe 2:55 for Luling, something like that, and 3:05 for AMA. So those are the areas where you need to be taking shelter. And again, this is radar indicated, so there's no guarantee that we have a tornado on the ground. And we haven't seen any reports of tornadoes in our area so far today, even though these storms, earlier today were really showing impressive rotation. So there's no guarantee that there's one out there, but obviously you have to take shelter and plan accordingly in case there is one, to cause some damage or some dangerous conditions to your area. So that's the current one that we have at the moment as it continues to lift off to the northeast. That line coming over with what I think probably a potential waterspout here over Lake Pontchartrain on the western side. And then you have the severe thunderstorm warning aspect of this up on the North Shore into St. Tammany Parish. And even farther north of that, there's no warning up here, but obviously this is very heavy rain. You could be dealing with some street flooding across parts of western Pearl River County, eastern Washington Parish, gusty wind potential, obviously very, very frequent lightning, which can be very dangerous as well. The maroon boxes off to the west of that, you notice those are flash flood warnings. I doubt we have anything too widespread. The system has moved through pretty quickly, but enough of that heavy rain that we could be dealing with some street flooding in that area as well, although it should be subsiding here shortly as the system continues to move off to the east. And so you notice the other concern here, more cells down to the southeast, or I should say south of the ones that we have currently moving up. And so it's going to be these cells as they continue to move north-northeast that we also have to watch for the potential rotation to pop up and prompt some of these tornado warnings here. And those would be the cells eventually making their way up into the immediate New Orleans area. So far, well, here you go. Here's a new tornado warning now for parts of St. Tammany Parish. And so that's the area we were talking about just a moment ago with that strong wind threat. So let's put a stop on this. We'll read the text from the Weather Service here and see what they say in terms of that tornado warning. So, tornado warning now for central St. Tammany and southwestern Pearl River County until 3:15. Again, a radar-indicated tornado near Madisonville, sort of moving between Madisonville and Covington, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Skippy, I'll probably stay on a little bit longer through this as well here, just since we have this new warning. This includes I-12 between mile markers 60 and 70, I-59 between mile markers 8 and 11, and I-59 eventually in southern Mississippi. So here you go. And you can see this right here. What we're looking at is this area right over, boy, I tell you, and here's my concern, as I just mentioned. This is an area that a lot of these schools are going to be letting out over the next 5 to 10 minutes. You have buses up here running. You have a ton of parents in line trying to pick up their kids because everything's dismissing early. And to me, that is the gamble of doing that as opposed to, keeping kids probably in a more safe structure, because now you have this tornado warning when everybody's out and about trying to pick up kids. So here's what you're looking at in terms of the rotation. Let's pop that on here for you. And it's broad. Obviously, this is not something I would necessarily look at and say, yeah, that's a guaranteed tornado, but it's certainly there, and it's right along 190 as you get north of Mandeville. So there's Mandeville. Here's 190 coming up right here. Here's I-12. And so you have this storm that has produced this tornado warning. Now, again, not a confirmed tornado on the ground, but there's a lot of wind going on out here. There's a lot of wind. There's a lot of heavy rain. There's a lot of lightning. Dangerous conditions to be out driving around in as we go through the next 15 to 20 minutes here as this tornado warning continues off to the northeast. Obviously, a very heavily trafficked area, very highly populated area here, right up into central St. Tammany Parish. So let me put a storm track on that for you, and it's so broad, I'm going to do a pretty broad storm track here and move that off to the northeast. And you can see that approaching Abita Springs and Tallahassee here over the next 15 to 20 minutes and beyond. But, boy, right over 190. So if you are in that area, I would take shelter. If you were about to head out, trying to pick up the kids, whatever the case, stay sheltered in place. I would imagine that all these schools in this area are not going to be sending kids out anyway under a tornado warning. So I would think everybody's sheltered in the schools here until that clears out. So that is passing right over 190 and I-12, heading off to the northeast of that. Not a whole lot up there except for the Abita Springs area. You get sort of in between that and I-12. You do run into a little bit more sparsely populated area, but there's still houses, so if you're in that red box, make sure you're taking shelter and in a safe place. And as I mentioned, you may be doing that in these same areas here again very shortly, because here comes that cell, which I think is really now probably 15 to 20 minutes, if not sooner, over the causeway. And so this could be very dangerous driving here over the causeway as well. Over the bridge, there's a look at the latest velocity. I mean, again, broad circulation, but obviously there, very large area of circulation. You don't want to be trying to drive across the bridge in that. So if you're about to head off over the causeway here from the South Shore especially, and really in either direction, I would advise against that. The rotation looking a little less prevalent here with our tornado warning down into St. Charles Parish, but nevertheless, you still want to be sheltered in place as you go through the next 15 to 20 minutes here. Again, that cell coming right up into, I mean, it'd be right here. I'm not saying we have a tornado on the ground, but if we did, it'd be right here where you get this is a little bend here north of Paradis. And so this is coming right up in between Hahnville and Luling. I know we do have some tornado sirens in this area, so you're probably hearing those going off. Good idea to get in your safe place there. Long River Road, Airline Highway, obviously on the other side of the river there. So Luling to Hahnville, these areas stay sheltered until that cell moves through. That's also going to continue up towards I-10, get into the western side of Kenner here as we go through the next 15 to 20 minutes. So heads up for that if you're in those areas. And overall, just a nasty line of storms. I'm going to turn off the lightning here because I think it makes it easier to see what we're looking at. A nasty line of storms. And so, you know, the best chance for a tornado does come from those isolated cells out ahead of the main line, which we have some down to the south. But that doesn't mean you can't get a spin-up tornado to occur within the line. And so you can see these cells kind of merging in here through St. Charles Parish. You get up over the causeway, that cell about to run over there. And now you have this tornado warning here across central St. Tammany. You can even see at one point there just sort of a little swirling in the cell. Looks like a couple cells merging together. You get some of that swirling wind. I think it's a little bit less likely in this area that we have a tornado as opposed to damaging wind. But notice how that red is getting wrapped around. So I mean, you obviously have some swirling wind taking place here. May not be a tornado, may just be some very strong wind, but certainly could be enough to knock down some trees and that sort of thing. That is headed now northeast of I-12. Should stay probably just south of Abita Springs, so I think we're looking okay in the short term, except for some of the, you know, obviously neighborhoods and houses that we have out here. In terms of large municipal areas, Tallahassee, that community, it looks like the next one that will be directly impacted by this. So take shelter there as that continues to head off to the northeast of I-12 and 190. There's that broad rotation heading towards the causeway. And then again, you look at this area here between just sort of northwest of Bootee. It is this area right here where we have that potential tornado northwest of Bootee. Heading up, this is going to be moving along I-310. So again, if you're about done for the day, if you know somebody that's about to be heading along I-310 over the Hale Boggs Bridge, you know, give them a heads up. Very, very dangerous, potentially, driving conditions here. And if you are in Luling, in Hahnville, sort of in between Luling and Hahnville, just south of Norco, I want you to take shelter, stay sheltered in place, which again means the lowest level of your home, interior room, interior hallway, something of that nature. So those are the two tornado warnings that we have at the moment. We'll take a quick break here. We'll send you back to programming as those move over. You know, the one up in St. Tammany moves over a little bit less populated area, and that one to the southwest looking a little bit less impressive. But please stay sheltered. If you are out and about through the day, pay attention to the radar. We've got a little ways to go, especially on the South Shore, a long time to go, several hours before this line moves through. And obviously any of these cells are going to be capable of producing isolated tornadoes because there's just so many ingredients in the atmosphere for this. So please have a way to get warnings you know, if you get under one of those warnings, quickly take shelter in a safe place and really follow along through the day. So we'll check back in here in a few minutes as needed. Stay with us as always on WGNO.